Hi, and nice to see you again. Now that I created the BOMs, I need to automate the production of my goods, and I want a more in-depth analysis of the process. So I'll create some Workcenters and Routings. The Routings have records of the production operations or stages that I must follow in order to produce the finished product. Doing so will allow me to record the time spent on each manufacturing action and know what the next step is. More than that, it adds a new view where I can add instructions related to the work so I can avoid any possible mistakes. These steps are usually done by the engineering manufacturing department. Thanks to these Odoo features, I can go into detail and keep track of everything we did and need to do now to make it better. With an easy to use and intuitive interface, I will show you how I can set up everything in just minutes to manage my manufacturing process. So let's check it out right now. All right, so here I am on my database, specifically looking at the manufacturing application. Now, if I want to add some roots to my manufacturing process, I'll need Workcenters, like one for semi-finished products and one for the final product. And it's up to the manufacturing engineering team to decide what the routing will be. By doing this, they can give instructions to the manufacturing operators so they'll know how to do each operation and at which Workcenter has to be done. So we're going to go to Configuration, Settings, and activate the option Work Orders so we can create Workcenters and Routings. Okay, so that option will be the first one you see here underneath the Operations section. All right, and then once you have this activated, which I already do, we can go ahead and create a couple of Workcenters. So I'm going to click on either this button right here from the settings page, or we're going to go to Master Data, Workcenters, and then we're going to click on Create. So first of all, as you can see, I already have a few, but I'm going to create a new one right now. So the first one I'll create will be for finished products. So I'm going to call it finished products. And then for the code, we're going to put FP, okay, for finished products. And then I can even specify the working hours. So for this Workcenter, I'm going to keep the standard 40 hours a week. Okay, I can change it because let's say it changes from Workcenter to Workcenter. So you can say for the finished products, it's standard 40 hours a week, but maybe for my semi-finished products, Workcenter will only be 35. Okay, I can just change that right here. And then we're going to have some general information. So the first one we see here is time efficiency. So right now it's at 100%. So let's say an operation or an action should take 1 hour. And the efficiency is 100%, okay, then it will take 1 full hour to do the job. But if it's 50%, it will take 2 hours, okay? And as I've mentioned in other videos, if you would like another definition of this field, you can always scroll over and you'll have a small definition here. So if you're not 100% sure of what something is, you can always scroll over and have a small definition. So in this case, for capacity, we see number of pieces that can be produced in parallel. Okay, so the number of items that can be produced at the same time. Then we're going to have our overall equipment effectiveness target, and we do talk about OEE in another video, so be sure you check that out. All right, and then we're going to be able to specify the time before or after production. So before production, I'm actually going to say 15 minutes. All right, and then we're going to have our costing information on the right, so cost per hour. All right, I'm not going to change the information right now. And then we can even add a description for the Workcenter. So let's go ahead and save this. Then we're going to create another one. This will be for our semi-finished products. Okay, the code will be SP. I'm going to leave everything exactly the way that it is, except I'm also going to change the time for before production here as well, and then save. Now, for these Workcenters, I don't have any data just yet. I haven't started using these Workcenters, but once I do, I am going to have some information that will appear right here. Okay, this will help us analyze the performance of the Workcenter. So we're going to see our overall equipment effectiveness, if we have lost time, and more. So these are smart buttons that we can click to have a good view of what's happening with this Workcenter, with all of our Workcenters, okay? So as of right now, I don't have any data. That's why we're not seeing anything when I click. But as I start using these Workcenters, this information will begin to appear. Okay, so let's go to our dashboard. So I'm going to click on manufacturing, and right away, I see these 2 new Workcenters. They're right here on the dashboard, super easy access. Okay, but since I've created them, the next step is to create a new routing. So we're going to go to Master Data, Routings, and Create. Okay, so I'm going to call this routing table. I'm going to keep it simple. All right, this will be table version 1 for the routing. Okay, and then I have my work center operation. So I'm going to go ahead and add a couple of these by clicking on Add a Line. Okay, so of course I need to name the operation. So the first one will be mount table, and I need to choose my work center as well. So even though it's for one routing, it will take different work centers for different operations. Okay, so for the first one, mount table, it will be at the finished products work center. I'm sorry, the semi-finished products work center, first things first, okay? And then I can say how I would like to compute the duration. Okay, so what I'm gonna choose here is compute based on real time, and it will be based on a certain amount of work orders. So by default, it will say 10, but I'm gonna change this to 5. Okay, and if I would like to, I can even set the duration manually. So I don't have to make it based on real time. I can select the second option. All right, and then you just change the amount here. So 45 minutes or compute based on real time, which is what I'm going to do. All right, and then we're going to have our next operation. So we can say we will start the next operation once all products are processed, or once a certain amount of products are processed. Okay, so then of course, if you choose this second option, then you need to say what the minimum is. But I'm going to go ahead and say once all products are processed. Now down below, we can also add a description for the operation, and we can even upload a PDF file. So if we have some instructions for this operation in the Work Center that's on a file, we can upload that right here. So imagine you have actually a sketch of what you need to do. You can upload everything right here, which is super easy. And then the people who are actually in the Work Center looking at this, they will have those instructions right there in front of them. All right, so now we're going to click on Save and New. Okay, for the second operation, I'm going to say Mount Tabletop. This Work Center will be for finished products. I'm going to change how the duration is computed. I'm going to say it's going to be based on the last 5 work orders. And I'm going to leave this as once all products are processed, but actually I'm not creating an operation to go after this. So I will leave it the way it is. I'm going to click on Save and Close. Okay, so keep in mind that the order here is important as well. You want the first operation to be first on the list and so on, okay? So if these are out of order, you can just drag and drop. Okay, but Mount Tabletop needs to be second, so let's go ahead and put Mount Table first. All right, now we're going to save this. Now that we've created this routing, we're going to apply it to a bill of material. Okay, so let's go ahead, go to Master Data, Bills of Materials. I'm going to choose my Make to Order table, click on Edit, and of course, under the Routing field, we're going to go ahead and change this. We're going to say Table, so the one we just created, and Save. Now that we have set everything up, let's go ahead and see it in action. So we're going to create a manufacturing order for this product, the Make to Order table. So let's go to Manufacturing Orders, Create. Okay, I'm going to choose the Make to Order table. All right, good. We can save. Now, once we do this, we can check the availability. We have everything in stock, so let's go ahead and click on Plan. Now, when we click on Plan, we're going to see our work orders in the right corner here. So we have 2. Okay, so we have 2 operations that will be done in 2 different work centers. So let's go ahead and start. I'm going to click on this. All right, we have the first one that's in green. It's ready to go. It's ready to be processed. Okay, if I click on this, I'm going to see this button at the top, Process. It's ready to produce. If I go back and if I try to go to the second one, I'm not going to be able to process it. I won't even have the button. Okay, and then it will be it will have the status pending. Okay, so it's not ready to go, and I won't be able to complete this operation until I process the first one. All right. So this is how I have my operation set up. So let's go ahead and click on Process. Okay. If I had instructions, I would see them while completing this step, but I didn't add any. So let's go ahead and mark it's done. Okay, good, it's done. We can click back to go back to our dashboard. We'll see that for the semi-finished products work center, we don't have anything left to do. All right, but now we do have something to do in the finished products work center. So that's the second work center we need to go to with this routing. And we have one to launch. So let's go ahead and launch that right now. I'm going to click on to launch. Okay, it's ready to go. It's ready to produce, and I can process it since I finished the first operation. Okay, so let's click on process. Okay, now we can go ahead and click on validate, except I'll get a warning to say that I need to enter a lot or a serial number because I do track this item. So let's go ahead and add a serial number here, and then save and validate. Okay, so it's just an extra level of security there. All right, I also need to add one for my table leg, so we're going to do that now as well. I'm just choosing the lot number or the serial number that Odoo is generating for me. Then we're going to click on validate. Okay, once I do that, I'm going to be able to mark this as done or mark as done and close MO. And also at the top, we're going to see that I need to add a serial number. Now, if I don't add the serial number and I click mark as done or mark as done and close MO, I'm going to get a warning that says I should provide a lot for the final product. In this case, it's actually a serial number. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now and save. And I'm actually going to mark it as done and go ahead and close the manufacturing order. I don't want to have to go back to the manufacturing order and close it manually, so I'm going to let Odoo do it for me. Let's mark it as done and close MO. Cool. Looks good. I go back. I have nothing to do in either Workcenters, neither semi-finished products or finished products. Okay, and we also have the overall equipment effectiveness here now that we have used this Workcenter. Okay, so as I said, once we start working with these Workcenters, we're going to see some data here as well for these things. So let's go back to our operations and our manufacturing orders. We're going to remove this filter to do. And we're going to look at that manufacturing order we just completed, which is number 5 here. Okay, it's done. I didn't have to do that. Odoo did it for me, or really I did it for myself when I said mark is done and close MO. All right, but I don't have to go back to the manufacturing order to close it. As you can see right here, it's already done. All right, and of course, I'm going to have some information as well. I'm going to have a traceability report. I'm going to see what I did, what work orders I completed, the inventory moves, and the cost analysis as well. So let's go ahead and check out the traceability report right now. Okay, I'm just going to click down here. All right, I see all of the products we used and the exact time and date that we used them. Okay, if there are lots and serial numbers, and we have other information here as well, how much we used and more. So how cool is that? As you can see, it just took a couple of minutes to set up the routing and the Workcenters, but once it's done, everything else just seems so easy. With Odoo, it's possible and it's so convenient. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching.